At you live from DNHQ2 in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is Blue Heaven Podcast. Man. I'm just keep doing it just for you. Pick one.
In your face, sucker.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Nailed it.
We are powered by the Overtime Podcast Network. What is going on, Dodgers Nation? My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram.
Such a professional. Look at you go. My name is Brook. You can find me at BrookMe3 on Twitter and Instagram. On today's show, we continue with our awesome DN Twitter Roundtable series.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun. There's secret hidden people over there, unless you already put them on the camera. I don't know what you did. But we got to talk about Joc Jack Derby because he went pretty hard.
He did.
He really went hard.
He did. With a asterisk?
Sort of.
Possibly.
No.
Possibly.
They called it wrong.
Yeah.
We continue our MLB trade season talk. We got a little bit of our first half highlights to go through. 2 Franks, 1 mailbag. Yeah. Or 2 Franks, 1 Brook, whatever makes you feel nasty.
Whatever it takes, guys.
Plus the easiest $300 million you're ever going to make in your life. But first, we have to give a shout-out to our friends up there in that corner. You guys will see him, Sportscaster. You can look like a pro, sound like a pro, all that fun stuff. You go to sportscaster.com, and you can do what we're doing. Don't do that. That's messed up. That's our gig. That's not cool. But yeah, if you like the live stream, if you want a game on there, be your own broadcaster. Visit sportscaster.com today. That is CASTR.com today. But, of course, after this stream.
After the game. You can spell. That's really good.
That one, you know me. You know how I do.
Letters and vowels and stuff. Don't forget, guys, this is a live broadcast, so make sure you're letting us know where you're representing Dodgers Nation from. Let me know what you're drinking. Let me know area code. That's what we do, right? Not zip code. I think last time I said zip code, and I was like, I have no idea what
home address
are. Home address, whatever it takes. So let us know where you're watching from. Today,
they're very excited.
Coming up, yeah. Today, we're very excited to welcome the freshest duo you'll ever get out of a tin can in the United States of America. Stars of the Let's Be Frank podcast, Mr. Frank Martinez and Mr. Frank Lopez, the franchise, as it were.
Yeah, hashtag franchise. Welcome to DNHQ2, guys.
Thanks, fellas. It's a pleasure.
My God,
thanks for having us.
You sound great.
All of a sudden,
I can hear him. He sounds rather delicious, if you will. But this is, I don't know what camera to look at. I don't know if there's any snare in my headphones. I'm gonna go that one. But
the middle.
This is all people have today. They only have us, guys, because this is what we're on day. Well, let's be real. It's like day 7 of no Dodger baseball because they decided to go and get, per some idiot, swept by the Padres.
They got 3 games swept.
3 games swept. Yeah,
that's true.
exactly.
That's
if you only count, they weekend sweep. Yeah. Oh, do it. Very proud of you.
Cheers.
You know what? That's just.
Clean.
That's just the stuff you pay good money for. Coors Light, not a sponsor. But Dodgers, they hit that bit of a skid. And, Brooke, I'm blaming you.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment of that.
Yep.
I blame the whole – we'll talk about it later, but Manny betting his contract thing really just threw things off. If you're looking at it, they're, 16-32, 5-5 in the last 10. They're still 13.5 ahead of Arizona, right? Best in the NL by 5.5 games. Best in Major League Baseball by just 1 game now. Those Yankees are streaking. They're coming, and they're coming fast, guys. And they're actually coming to L.A., aren't they? Don't they come in September?
Like August 23rd, 24th, 25th, I believe.
So we're going to need you talking to that microphone, sir.
There it is. That's going to be a freaking sweet series that I can't afford to go to, but
my friend has tickets.
But you'll find your way there, though.
I'll find my way there. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah, he's going to sneak in. You're real sneaky.
I can fit in the bag.
Give us some numbers. Give us some numbers.
All right, look, you guys want to know what happened. They hit a skid, all right? That's just that's going to happen.
Yeah.
They did that. Remember when they did that in 2017 and everybody thought they're going to lose the entire
Thanks for reminding me.
They didn't win a game for like a month or whatever. They lost 7 of their last 13. They only scored 11 runs in 4 games against the Padres of all people. But on a bright side, it does come in the midst of a 24-game streak where they had one day for break. So, you can find some solace in that. But in July, they were number 27 in batting average for a team. They were number 26 in run production as a team. Back to the bright side a little bit. They had a 2.95 staff ERA in July, 4th best in all of baseball. Their bullpen allowed just 3 earned runs, good for a 1.47 ERA in July as a whole. So, it's kind of just like that thing where they were doing in 2017 where their offense wasn't matching up with their defense, and then their defense wasn't matching up with their offense. Kind of the same situation where it's like One is really good, one is very bad, and so you need them to be good at the same time.
Right.
If they're bad at the same time, whatever, you're going to lose those games.
So wait, you're
anyways.
telling us that we don't need relief pitching anymore with that?
That is 100% not what I said. That is not what I mean. I mean they
You're
have a
saying
good stretch of games.
We don't need Vasquez now because we have Dylan Floro or Yimi Garcia.
Yimi, the home run machine, the
That's
pitching
where-
machine.
That's where I've struggled with it right now because we I don't know. All right, when do you guys let's go with you, Frank? Talk. When do you start to feel good about Joe Kelly? He's been on a run. When do you start to actually feel confident about him?
When it's meaningful games, I think, for me, like down the stretch,
Mhm.
you know, past the dog days of summer, when it's getting to the end of August into September, and he's able to perform in high leverage spots, I think that's when you can say, all right, we got something here.
Mm-hmm. And that's the other side. So if he's starting to like trend up, but you still don't really have that abundance of confidence when he's entering the game. Another one I don't think anybody's ever overtly comfortable with is Kenley Jansen still. Thoughts?
Yeah, Kenley Jansen is he's gonna be one of those guys we have no other choice but for him to figure it out.
Yeah,
because
Vasquez.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, he's gonna pitch meaningful innings in October. I mean, David Roberts is gonna throw him in there, and I mean he's got to figure it out in order for us to get to where we want to get at the end of October.
I want to see if you can piggyback on my narrative with Dave Roberts and Kenley Jansen. So I say that Dave Roberts is terrified of Kenley Jansen. He won't tell him anything. He is going to be like, please, Mr. Sir, can...
Like physically intimidated?
Yeah. I think like he won't actually...
He's a big dude.
I mean, how many times have you seen him just leave him in there? You know, we've seen
Right.
Doc just leave Kenley in there, even though it's like you clearly need to get out because you're not right now, or maybe it's hurting you, it's hurting the team. But he's just, you know, sitting there twiddling his thumbs or whatever. And hey, honey, I know your back hurts, but can you go talk to him real quick or something?
We've talked about it a few times where you're notoriously he's not a great in-game manager. Not necessarily that he's
Kenley
bad.
Jansen's terrible. No,
Yeah, very bad in-game
Yeah.
manager. He's not bad. Obviously, you can't go to back-to-back World Series being a bad in-game manager. That's not the case. He handles his bullpen differently than I would think he would, or
Right.
you would want him to, I think. A lot of times
Agreed.
he makes a lot of questionable decisions. A lot of times he makes a lot of really good decisions that end up working out, and obviously those get overlooked.
Always.
But it's those games when you leave Kenley in for one extra batter or something like that, or bring Kenley in for 5 outs, and you're like, or bring Kenley into a tie game, which is like his absolute kryptonite. A
Right.
tie game with Kenley Jansen in it is a guaranteed solo shot with 2 outs every
Yeah.
damn time.
Yeah, the way we've kind of articulated it in our podcast is that Kenley Jansen's still our guy, but he's no longer that guy.
Yeah.
That guy that we saw in 2017. It's just not him. And it's, kind of unfair to expect someone to keep up that type of, production, I guess you can say, for a number of years. But I think the days of expecting more than one inning out of him or situations that are a little bit more unorthodox, I think those days are over. I think that's why we definitely need to get somebody at the deadline.
And what you're seeing out of Kenley is a lot of what we've seen the last year or two out of Kershaw. You know, they both have been the horses. They've been the guys that they're riding the Old Town Road or whatever the kids are into these days.
Whatever kids do.
All the way to the end of, a bunch of home runs in the World Series, which is unfortunate. But like, you have to at some point in time take a step back as a Kenley or something and be like, maybe I'm not just that elite anymore. Maybe I need to be a little bit smarter about it. Or I don't know, just start juicing, whatever. When in Rome. Also, Facebook wasn't working to start the show, but we're back up now. We had some technical difficulties, but Michael wants starting pitching. So
Just Michael.
Just Michael.
Yeah,
Only
just
for Michael.
That's a good launching pad right there. That's a
Launching
good way
pad.
to kick off the conversation, because that's kind of right where we're at.
Yeah, there's an obvious need for relief pitching, but then there's the other side of it. You can go out and get a starting pitcher. We've seen. Trevor Bauer's probably not going to be moved, but Mets have put Syndergaard on the block now. Let's stick with you again here, and that's going to be great for the podcast side that is here with you.
With you, yeah.
Frank Lopez, would you rather see starting pitching come to LA and help? You're going to probably move Stripling back to the bullpen or something like that, or maybe Maeda. Is there a hope that Rich Hill? Let's stay out of that. Would you rather see starting pitching or a lockdown reliever?
Yeah, even in the event that Rich Hill doesn't come back, I'd still want to see a relief pitcher get added to the roster. I think we have a guy built in, and right now it's going to take a little bit of a building him back up. But his name is Julio Urias, and I think if need be, he's going to be our number 4 starter in the playoffs. Oof. And obviously that's not the ideal situation. You want Rich Hill to come back and be that guy, and then Julio can pitch multiple innings in different roles. But if it comes down to it, I think Julio gets into the rotation. I think we add a preferably left-handed starting pitcher or relief pitcher too.
But that role that he's kind of figured out and morphed into, he's become like straight up dominant elite dude. And you look at the way Boston beat us last year, they're bringing in pitchers who can go 2-3 innings. They're bringing in their starters to lock us down. Julio can be that guy. So that's why I'm like, as much as you want him in the rotation, as much as he deserves to be in the rotation, as much as you need to start getting him ready for the rotation next year, you really can't take him out of that role right now. It's tough.
It really is. And it's not ideal, but neither are injuries, and it's just going to be one of the things that, we kind of have to bite the bullet on. And yeah, I think, in my opinion, that's going to be the
one option. One option.
I like Julio as a starter.
Clone.
I mean, I like him I like him anywhere, honestly, but as a starter, it just makes the most sense for me long term. I think that's where they brought him on.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's why he's on the team. That's why he's still there. They brought him on to be that guy. He's supposed to be that guy, despite injuries, despite whatever. He's supposed to be that guy. But yeah, I'll take him back in the starting rotation any day of the week. I love watching him, bridge the gap for 7th and 8th inning. I love that. Right. I would also love to see him pitch 7 shutout innings. Right. Doesn't matter.
All right, let's look at some relief pitchers. We've seen a lot of names thrown around. Frank Talk, who's your guy? Who's like, let's say if you could only get one of the elite-ish or top relief pitching guys out there on the market, who are you looking at that really puts this team over the top without damaging it right now?
Yeah, I think it's 1A and 1B with Brad Hand and Felipe Vasquez, either or. I know the early reports are what Pittsburgh is going to be desiring for Vasquez, and who knows if that's just a leverage play or who's leaking that info, but 1A and 1B between those two guys. You get one of those, I think then it lessens the blow of putting Julio into the rotation. Then Maeda goes into the bullpen perhaps, and now he becomes an inning, dominant bullpen piece. So I think it's one of those two guys and you're set.
And Brook, who's your guy? Who do you really want to see?
Dude, I got plenty of guys on my radar. I'm always looking at relievers. Like when we were when we were talking about at the beginning of the year, who's the guy I wanted? The guy that they got picked up on like waivers and is dominating.
Oh, Blake Parker. Blake Parker.
So I wanted Parker at the begining of the year.
And
really
look at them
wanted
Twins
him
now because I think he went to the Twins. Did he go to the Twins?
Yeah, I think you're right. That's probably right. But anyway, he's lighting up everybody. He's killing it. So I'm always looking at relievers. I really like the idea of Shane Green, but I also think that Shane Green is one of those guys that could like fall off the second you trade him. That's kind of how I look at him, and I'm like, that's not really any kind of guarantee. I like Felipe just because he's got a little control behind him, and he's had a little bit of a track record over the course of a couple years. Shane Green's more relatively within the past few years. I would prefer him. I would also prefer to not sell the farm from him because I'm a notorious prospect hugger myself. But there are also plenty of guys in our system that don't belong in our system, that won't ever have a spot in our system, and that don't belong at all. Edwin Rios is definitely one of those guys.
And Matt Beatty.
And Matt Beatty, guys that really probably don't have a spot on the roster anytime in the near future, especially if you consider like the cornerstone pieces that we have in our franchise. I mean, if you look at, first base is probably occupied for a very long time. Third base is going to be occupied eventually, not by Justin Turner, but by probably Corey Seager or some combination of Gavin Lux, Corey Seager, and what's the really good shortstop guy's name? Amaya?
There's Amaya. There's also Jeter Downs that would be plus shortstops.
So in terms of like the infield, there's not a spot for anybody. I don't really see Edwin Rios as like a power bat off the bench for long term. I think he's one of those guys that profiles as like a corner infielder that hits for power but doesn't have a super high batting average. He's one of those guys. Yeah. That guy would play well in Detroit. That guy would play well in Oakland. That guy would play well in wherever you want to put him. Baltimore? Definitely Baltimore. So when you're looking at those pieces, it's like I don't think you have to give up the one of your top 4 guys. I know they're talking about a combination of Will Smith, May, all those guys up there near the top. Lux. and Kiebert too. Kiebert's just like such a weird guy that has question marks behind him because
Yeah.
he's so young, and people
Right.
kind of forget that he's still so young.
Yeah,
and
it's tough for him
everyone's-
to be as young as he is and also the number one prospect.
Exactly. People are like, this guy should be hitting 300 in the minor leagues, no problem. And it's like, you're right, but also he's a child, give him time. Cody was one of those guys that just hit right away in the minor leagues. That's kind of a,
Right.
That's not real. That's an outlier.
So-
Gavin Lux is kind of one of those guys too.
YouTube over here, we got Sports Mixes 24. Dodgers don't need to give up top prospects for a setup guy, and that's another pretty key, like tough to swallow thing. I wouldn't say I got into an argument with someone on Twitter today, but they tried to argue at me, and I'm just like, you're missing my point. By Felicia, but. That is
good.
super tough to trade anybody out of your top 4 for any sort of relief pitcher, let alone a rental or something like that. Like that's what's good about Vasquez is that he's controllable for a long time and pretty damn cheap. I think you can control him through 2023 for only like $30 million only. I know, chump change or whatever.
Only.
Like that dude, I'm very happy to throw one, not really one. It is one guy on my radar that of the top 4 I can allow. But I'm not going to divulge that yet. We're going to go to you guys first. Frank, talk. Who is your one untouchable out of the top 4 prospects? Of course, the top 4 being Kiebert, Gavin Lux, Dustin May, and Will Smith.
I mean, it really just depends. It's really hard to pinpoint one. I guess just on the spot, if I had to say one untouchable out of that mix, it would probably go Dustin May. Just because of that's a guy that you compare with Walker Buehler, probably Urias, and have just an absolute dominant 1, 2, 3 for years.
Ridiculous
to
starting
come.
rotation.
And knowing how expensive starting pitching gets real quick. Yeah, that's there's really no wrong call here, but
It's a
you're
tough
right.
time too because they're all. I mean, with the exception of Kiebert, they're all playing very well right now, especially those top guys. I mean, Will Smith got his time up at the top, went back down, still tore the cover off the ball.
No, he's
Gavin-
so good. He tore the ball off
tore
the
the
cover.
ball off the cover.
Gavin Lux,
You guys
is,
can
is
use that one.
mashing. Like
Right.
he's moved through the system so fast, and he's mashing. He apparently doesn't have an arm yet, but he could find it. He might. Probably long-term second baseman. Probably.
I would think so.
We'll see, but I'm hoping
Yeah.
that arm develops and can take Corey at a shortstop because I'm a notorious I don't like Corey at shortstop guy.
Same.
People say what they want about that, but it's like you look at him and you're like, that's a third baseman. I don't know what else to tell you. That's a third baseman.
Yeah.
But he's been at shortstop for a long time.
I feel like Cal Ripken played it short.
Yeah, but
played
there's
very
one
well.
Cal Ripken in all of history.
Right.
you know?
There's been one.
And there's one Corey Seager.
like DJ LeMahieu, like playing second base, like
Never heard of
that's
her.
an outlier. Like things like that aren't common.
Yeah.
And Corey, bad hip, bad elbow, bad little bit of everything.
Hamstring.
Third base guy, man.
Yeah, I think long term. Look,
It fits with the structure too.
for me, I don't think there's an untouchable prospect right now.
Really?
And I think the state of the 2019 Dodgers, I don't think there's one. You look at examples in the past where you think of guys like Walker Buehler, Cody Bellinger, Julio Diaz that we held on to, and it's paid off to this point.
Exactly.
But the difference is those guys are up now, whereas back then we were a little bit more veteran heavy, right? And the major league roster really hadn't developed into what it is now. And this team is, I want to say once in a generation, except we saw something similar 2 years ago,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is a blessing. But right now, I mean, obviously you do everything you can to not give up 2 of those guys. But if it comes down to it, I'm kind of more on the side of, hey, you know what, you got to do what you got to do. If it's Felipe Vasquez, that's my only guy.
Yeah,
that I would
exactly.
want to
I can palette moving one for Flipper. I'm going to call him Flipper Vasquez for him to come to LA, but that's like only one because again, you can't. That's how this, like you said, that's how this team got built, is holding on to these dudes. We could have maybe in 2015 maybe advanced to the NLCS or something if we had one more guy. We absolutely could have won the 2017 World Series if we would have had one more relief pitcher. 18 was really
That's
just
the
a waste of
thing though.
time.
When you think about the fact that they've lost back-to-back World Series and are making another run at one, I'm with you on the sense that like you got to
Time
go
is
all
now.
in this
Time
year,
is
man.
now.
If you don't go all in this year, there's a good chance you don't get back to the World Series for a while.
Yeah.
and I mean, you look at teams rebuilding in the West. The Padres are coming. They, like it or not, they're coming, and they've kind of shown that they can be that team. They don't have a starting rotation. I mean, they don't have much of a bullpen. They don't have much of really any kind of pitching. Once they get that pitching, I mean, what's stopping them? I mean,
Right.
there's nobody stopping.
We're
those
starting
guys.
to see a little bit of it too, you
Right.
know, and That team, you could tell it's young because they get up for the good teams and they get down. We had Fire Phil on the podcast last week.
Oh, name dropper. Oh, whatever. Jerry Hairston's in the stream right now.
What's up, Jay Hair?
Let's go, Jay Hair.
He's entertaining,
Friend of the
man.
show.
Fire Phil.
Oh,
my God,
he's one of the
man.
best for sure. And
I love that guy.
he was making that point though, is that they're not that far away. And,
They are not. They are not. Yeah.
I don't necessarily believe 100% that it's now or never because this team is, it has the infrastructure to be successful for a very long time.
Yeah.
But you know what? Eventually there might be the year, hey, we might not win the division. Last year was almost last year.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm about all in as you could be on Felipe Vasquez.
Yeah, he makes the most sense for this team. The team is short on left-handed pitching, dominant left-handed pitching. They tried in 2018 to go pick up Scott Alexander just to really combat the style of the Astros. But guess what? You don't always end up facing the Astros in the World Series. And you went and faced a bunch of
They thought they
launch
were going
angle
to.
dudes and all that, and it did not work out.
Right.
You can't worry about it. Zach Roskup, the return, the revenge of the Roskup doesn't work for me. And that's the thing right now. Julio's the only dude who is like a dominant lefty or even left-handed pitcher in the bullpen that you could even remotely rely on. Right. That's why I have more trouble pulling him out. So Felipe just makes so much sense on this team. However, there's one untouchable for me, Gavin Lux. He just makes all of the sense for this team right now. Last week, I think I called it out, that I see him making that Corey Seager 2015 impact on this team at second base, even though as of now it feels pretty set at second base. You got Seager coming back. You're going to have Taylor now the ability to move around, but probably play him. Taylor pretty much takes Matt Beatty's spot. In left field, what he was doing, even though they're one's left-handed batter, one's right-handed batter. You're going to see him playing some more second base. You're going to see Max Muncy staying there at second base. You're going to see, hopefully, a lot less Kike on the field as a starter. But Gavin Lux, by September, just gold. That's what it's going to be. Or your money back. But he is the guy. He's going to be that difference maker. That is, I don't know, that shot in the arm that this team needs and normally thrives on when it comes their entire 40-man roster up in September. He's going to be the difference maker.
So he'll be the guy that goes and covers third base on the extreme shift.
There you go.
You
got it figured out. Doesn't, with all these rumors and stuff flying around with, bullpen, relievers being added in, everything like that, happens every year. And every year they seem to add like a Joe Blanton type, the guy who just fills in and is going to do a decent job, surprisingly.
Right.
Doesn't Tyler Thornburg have that written all over him for like a Friedman minor league contract where he ends up coming up in September and making the roster? He just has that feeling towards it. I don't know.
Madsen.
I can see that.
That type of deal, exactly.
Right,
so
right.
As soon as I saw the Red Sox let him go, I was like, oh, he's going to be a Dodger by the end of the week. I could all but guarantee he's going to be here on some sort of minor league deal. So keep an eye out for that guy. I think he, in terms of like advanced stats or whatever, he's got like high fastball spin, high curveball spin, things like that. High velocity. The stuff's there. He just has not executed at all, and that's the type of guy that the Dodgers tend to turn around or piss him off enough to turn around.
Right.
So if we play against the Red Sox, that'd be great.
But then he'll go crap himself again in the playoffs or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. That does
still
happen.
mad at you, Madsen.
That does
still
happen.
mad.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got some people over here. We got Michael saying if the machine ain't broke, don't fix it. That's one take on it. You can try to stand pat. I don't think anybody in Dodgers Nation would be happy about that. Everybody, there's only one trade deadline this year. That's a huge difference for the Friedman style.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I don't see them standing pat, but I get it.
If you dive into the numbers paints the picture that there might be something that's broken, and that's the back end of the bullpen.
Yeah, when you're relying on and we love Dylan Floro, he's just not right for this kind of team. He's not right for a true, contender. Same with our good friend of the show in our hearts, Jimmy Garcia is probably not really ready for prime time on this team.
He's a notorious Yimmy stan. This guy.
There you go.
He loves Yimmy, man.
He's good. Tim in the stream, pointing out, SD Dodger pointing out Lux is not a shortstop. No.
I think we can.
I think everyone kind of has established that. Yeah, that's well known now.
Taylor's
Tim points it out a lot.
Taylor's on board with getting Shane Green.
I think she called him a under the radar type of guy, though. I would not call Shane Green an under the radar type of guy.
No, he's a frontline guy.
Yeah, I mean, his name is out there. People know that the Tigers are not competing. People are knowing that he's going to be on the trade block one way or another this year. He's having one of the best years of his career. now is the time to trade him and get all you can for him because, I mean, when are the Tigers competing? Like 2030, maybe, if that.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have much of a farm. They don't have much of anything.
It's a no for me, dog.
Yeah. So not necessarily an under-the-radar guy. I think he's going to cost a little bit more than an under-the-radar guy. I don't really know what he would cost in terms of prospects, but it's not going to be nothing. It's not going to be Brock Stewart.
What do you guys feel about? How do you guys feel about doing a deal with Farhan Zaidi in San Francisco for either Will Smith or Tony Watson
Or Madison Bumgarner?
I think that's its own conversation.
Yeah, we'll get on.
We're getting to that.
We can get to that.
Don't worry,
we'll
we're
get
getting
on
to that.
Mad Bum on a second. I'm fine with it, and I don't want Tony Watson as the guy. He's a good complementary piece if you're going to go out and find a way to get Shane Green, but he's not my guy to be like, oh, we got this. This is it. Just pencil in the World Series. We'll be there. Will Smith, maybe a little bit more. He has closing experience. He's left-handed. As Tony Watson has both, but I would say now at this point in time, Will Smith, maybe it's just a creature of opportunity. You feel better about him because he is the closer there.
Maybe
it's one of those things.
I mean, Tony Watson has that familiarity in LA too, and who knows? He's pitched in LA during the postseason
and
World Series
very well.
So there's that too. But for me, the whole Farhan thing in San Francisco, it's not even like a frontline guy that I'm scared of him taking because we all know who those guys. I'm scared that there's going to be some throw-in 35th ranked prospect that's going to end up being Max Muncy or something like that in a couple years. I think that's what most people are afraid of. So that's what makes me more tentative.
And I mean, if those type of dudes though are thrown in, the sneaker, the sleeper picks or whatever we want to call them, there's also that chance that they find that way to mix in Mad Bum. And that's the key. I've seen that already a few times in the stream. That's here as one of our big questions. I'm going to Martinez here. How do you feel about Mad Bum as a Dodger?
As a person
and as a Dodger.
As a father and a husband.
Keep in mind, we keep the show very Christian.
Yeah. Look, I'm not opposed to Mad Bum wearing the Dodger uniform. Like, I'm not that far out because of I rooted for Brett Butler back in when I was growing up as a kid. And even before, Dave Roberts wore both uniforms and Brian Wilson a few years back we rooted for. Mm-hmm. So I'm beyond that, but I just don't think there's a need for Bumgarner. I don't think there's, even if Rich Hill doesn't come back, there's contingency plans in place so that we can be able to still compete without having to go and trade for Madison Bumgarner. But overall, if for whatever reason, I think I've seen someone with a take that said it's not the worst idea. It's not the end of the world. If you're adding his resume as the fourth starter on the team, then of course that's a power play for sure. But it's just an unnecessary one from my standpoint.
I think people see it and they're like, he has an outstanding playoff record. He's clutch in the playoffs. I'm like, that dude hasn't been to the playoffs for a while. Realistically, if you're looking just at strictly stat lines, he hasn't really been good since 2016. He's been a number 4, number 5 kind of guy, or maybe number 3 on a bad team.
Yeah, a 3
back when all of his bones were together.
Exactly. But you look at it and he's seeing declines across the board. His velocity's back up a little bit this year. I'm not sure what he did, but he should talk to Clayton Kershaw a little bit about it.
Really
but his hard hit percentage is way up. His barrel percentage is way up, and interestingly enough, his strikeout percentage is up. So he's having a really strange year where he's given up a lot of really hard hit balls in a really big ballpark, and striking guys out at the same time. So it doesn't really make sense. Everything's going bad except his strikeout rate.
He might be compromising location for velocity.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is because he is missing up a lot. You see that a lot with him. He's getting hammered up in the zone, and so when you think about Kershaw, it's a lot of the same thing. He's trying to still overpower. He talks about how he's become that grown-up pitcher where he's I know I can't throw that hard anymore, so I'm trying to hit the corners. And then he battles guys up and in, and I'm like,
where'd that go?
Up and in with 88 miles an hour on Puig. I don't know if you can do that, bro. He knows you're coming with it. Throw him a curveball, do something, man. Very similar in that sense that those guys both just want to beat the guy, and they are competitors, and you love that, but if you're going to get him for playoffs only, I don't think that's the move. I do agree. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to see him in Dodger blue. That doesn't really bother me too much. It's more about the need. And is there an actual need? You
run only 4 starters in the playoffs. If Rich Hill makes his way back and is healthy, you're pretty set there. Of course, that's a kind of big if at his advanced age. I get it. But you're still pretty well equipped. We haven't even seen Dustin May yet in the bigs. He was just in the Futures game. Looked pretty damn good. Gonsolin had Joc still very, very much in his first 30 innings at first base.
Right.
The defense played like hot garbage behind him.
Yeah, I was at that game.
That was all his fault.
All my fault. Blame it on me.
Over here on Facebook, Antonio says one power lefty is the play, so they're on board with us. We give. I've been away from my board. Redondo bringing up bad news, old news. Verlander would have won us a ring, probably. However, he was the wrong trade.
No,
that was the right trade to go.
We
with
don't use
Darvish.
the same mixture as they do in Houston.
Yeah, not the same.
We don't do that. So he probably would have got rocked here. I also love how he's now on board with the balls are juiced. We're getting hammered.
Like,
All
he's
of a
having
sudden,
this
the year
this
he's
season.
having a really, really bad year in terms of home runs. He's like, effing balls are juiced. And it's like, what happened last 2 years, dude? Where were you at?
And I love I mean maybe something's wrong after he got yelled at.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. There might be something different.
Friend of the show, friend of the stream, Dodgers Nation expert writer AJ Gonzalez says Brock Stewart is available. Good point. Good point. Good point.
For
we could,
what?
We could throw in some Rocky Gale,
For
Adam
like a
McCreary.
BP pitcher.
I don't know. I wouldn't
Game
even
one
take
starter.
him on. I wouldn't even take him
Oh.
on.
Simulated.
Hey, Brooke. Taylor says I'm a dude.
Where's Taylor?
Taylor Spencer.
Taylor Spencer's a dude?
I don't know if anybody said. Did you say Taylor's a chick? That's rude.
I think
know.
Brooke might have
You
said.
Wow.
said that.
Taylor, I'm a dude.
Let's
Let's hang out.
Let's see. Enough about them. We're going to get back to those. We're going to have her get us some questions in a minute. But I want to make sure we announce our jersey giveaway winner. Because we have the Hyunjin Ryu jersey. We probably should have plugged in an image of it or whatever. But you guys know. I mean, imagine a 99. It doesn't say Ramirez. It says Ryu on the back. Gold. Anyways. Who won that? You want to announce?
I thought you were just gonna go off with it, but
No,
you were.
no.
You were.
That's a Dodgers Nation giving away a jersey. Hold on, wait.
You're gonna do a thing?
I'm gonna go with.
It's over 9,000!
I mean, it's a little bit cheaper
That
than
wasn't.
that. But
That wasn't the button. That
Who
wasn't it.
who is the recipient of our fine jersey giveaway? Mr. Brook is a
The
dude.
winner of the fantastic number 99 jersey,
I have it.
as brought to you by Dodgers Nation,
Where's the button?
is.
No, you have to. Oh, there
Yeah,
it is.
there you go. You have to hold it.
Yeah,
That's good.
and then it's just like
How do you say this guy's name?
John.
John Peace from
You don't know how to
Albuquerque,
say
New
John.
Mexico. Okay, no, the last name. It's
How do you say John?
P-E-I-C-E.
Gotcha.
John
Peace.
Peace,
Peace Pace.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
John
come
Peace
on
Pace.
down.
Congrats,
Come
John.
on
Congrats,
down and
John.
claim
We are-
your Ryu jersey.
We are 0 for 2 when it comes to
Names?
giving away anything on to California-based people. But it's fine, you know. John, we're going to send you an
gotta
email. You
expand.
have to. Well, I mean, I don't have any control in this. The thing picks for me.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, just making sure that we.
East Coast bias. Is that what-
East Coast, New Mexico.
Oh no.
John, we'll be emailing you shortly, and you have 20 or 48 hours to claim, or else I think we're gonna throw it in the blender. I'm not quite sure how that goes, but what? Oh yeah. I don't know what that doesn't help what's happening along the way. Also, a very important thing, we have an all-new shop, guys, DodgersNation.com/shop. You can get you can get that shirt if you want it, but there is some fire stuff. Anybody on the stream, you've seen it going down below you. There's a shirt. You can get one of these swanky mugs right
I
here.
thought you were gonna say a baseball. I was like, they can get
I
a
will
baseball
sign
from
this
anywhere.
baseball for you. Friend of the show shirt is finally available.
I think it's worth less if you sign that ball. Yeah,
It's a fine
you
ball.
got it. Yeah, it's fine.
Automatically discounted.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Happy
thrift
birthday,
store
T.
balls.
Thank you.
It's her birthday.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's my birthday today.
She is 58 years young.
It's true.
It's true.
I'm so youthful, but so old.
Also, I love the random Hillary behind you.
Yeah.
Anyways, what do you got for us from the stream?
Okay, so.
What do you like?
Okay, Dan says, do the Dodgers get rotation help to make up for Hill, or do the Dodgers finally get relief for their starters?
I feel like we kind of hit a lot of that, but it's going to be a relief pitcher.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we all
Yeah.
agreed on that.
Next.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, this person named Jamara48.
This person.
Not sure. Not sure who they are.
Not
Can't
sure
assume
if it's
these.
a person.
Can't assume anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you don't know.
Good
you
call.
don't know, guys.
Good call, T.
It.
No.
Person.
No. It.
No, you're not supposed to go with that.
User.
That's
It could
be
That's
anything.
at the Diamond Huggers. Go ahead.
Guys,
At Kembo
questions,
Thrice?
please.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're ruining her birthday.
Do you think the Dodgers would include Ruiz in a trade for Vasquez?
Yes.
I think it's going to be.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be.
Wow.
And now,
They need a catcher because
Yeah.
not Cerrone. That's a UFC fighter.
Cervelli.
Cervelli is not playing catcher.
I mean,
ever
that's why
again,
they because
apparently.
Cerrone was never on their team.
I mean, okay, so I get catching can really mess you up. I get that. I caught for a long time. Was that he's 6 concussions? Is that what he's up to now?
Yeah, it's
Is that
something
what it
like
is?
6,
Dude,
I think.
that's a lot of concussions. Like I think Buster Posey doesn't have that many concussions.
Right.
Like that's, I mean, when he got
Football-esque.
like railroaded, I'm pretty sure he like that counted as
Well, I
like 3
think Jonathan
concussions.
Lucroy just got 6 concussions
Ooh,
on
yeah.
that one.
Luke Ray might have a couple in him now. Bless
Yeah,
up
that
to his
was-
career, man.
That
I
was
Yeah.
nasty.
Yeah.
Poor Angels, man. They are just going through it. Sucks to be in Anaheim. What else you got?
Great.
You all right?
Segue.
Yeah, segue.
You good?
Okay. Isaiah Zay Carlos said, "Is Beatty a trade chip or still part of the future?"
Ooh, who wants it? Who wants it?
Yeah, I think definitely trade chip. Not that they showcased him per se, but he performed well in a time of need. And like I think it was Frank saying earlier, there's just not really a spot for him long term here on the roster. So you definitely want to sell high on Beatty.
There's so many first basemen. You know, he played serviceably in left field.
Right.
Why he was in left and not at first and Joc first, we already beat that dead horse a number of times. But he proved some versatility there. But yeah, he just will never have a spot on this big league roster. Cool dude, one of the nicer dudes we've been able to talk to. But yeah, it's just he makes so much sense. He's not going to be that Muncie of this year.
Right.
Jahuli,
Hi, Jahuli.
she says Brooke gets a haircut and thinks he can pick on Clint. What I take away from that is that she noticed I got a haircut, and that's all that matters in this. So,
Very noticeable haircut.
yeah, you know, you gotta make sure you.
You got a haircut?
I put a picture of my barber on our Instagram.
I saw that. I was wondering.
He's
I was
very
like,
Dodgers.
I was like, did Zed not sign out of Instagram?
Oh yeah, I was like, that's a lot of Dodger stuff. It's cool to put Dodger stuff up. I was gonna take a picture of his bobblehead collection, but the Justin Turner head fell off, and it looked kind of weird just sitting there in the picture. So I was like, I don't know
Looked too
about that.
ceremonial.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I didn't like that too much. You got any more from the stream, T?
Yeah, I have one more.
Is it good?
That's debatable. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can decide. Jerry Blee said, "Who are the Dodgers' most tradable assets besides prospects? Mac,
Oh.
Joc, Austin Barnes."
That's interesting.
I'm gonna stay
Austin
away.
Barnes is probably not tradable. I'm going to say that first of all.
You said
Wait, to add on to that, Carlos, not Baerga over here, says Kiki is trade bait? No.
Question?
No. Anyways, go ahead.
Somebody might take him.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about like major league talent currently.
Jock.
I
Yes,
guess
Joc.
Joc would get you the biggest. Would net you the biggest return.
Joc is
of somebody.
we've talked about it for so long. Joc fits so well on a rebuilding team that can't get anybody to come to their games. Like he fits so well in Miami that it just makes so much sense
man.
that it's like, why are you not there?
Yeah.
Like a guy who's just going to hit home runs and can't hit left-handed pitching. Like that's basically a Justin Bour, like
Yeah.
which they had. But I mean that
Detroit,
sells
maybe?
the tickets. Detroit, which would be a great ballpark for him to hit in. Those kind of teams, it just makes sense. Even Kansas City, I don't know, he might play somewhere like that.
It
but
does, but at this point, like it just feels like Joc's a Dodger, man. I know it doesn't really mean
It
anything.
does because
but-
for like 4 years now, it's been like he's going to get traded.
Yeah,
this
and
trade deadline
it was
he's
kind of
going.
like the Ethier thing for a long time.
Right.
Pau Gasol for the Lakers.
Right.
Like every year, there was
Too
just
soon.
like,
Too
when's this
soon.
guy gonna go?
He's going to be gone.
And eventually, he's kind of been one of the
And then comes up
Maces
clutch
and-
like in one
Yeah,
playoff game, and you're like,
exactly.
Yeah,
that's
he
why
really
he's here.
became.
Got it.
He really
Right.
became like the I guess the sort of stepping stone after Ethier to be that guy.
He
That's
was
a
the
really good
Scherzer home run in against the Nationals in that playoff season or playoff series. I
He
mean, that was
was-
like his defining moment.
He was maybe lined up to be the World Series MVP too in 2017.
Oh, no
so
doubt.
I mean,
Yeah.
with all that, it would be a little bit sad to see him go.
Yeah, he's just you just got to know what to expect from him. And I think as Dodger fans, we've kind of already figured that out.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we know you're either going to hit a home run or you're not going to do well.
And you're not going to hit a
gonna
lick versus lefties.
You're not gonna, and if we see you in against a left-handed pitcher, we're going to riot.
100%. Yeah.
I got a good series here. Zed pops in and says, "Not worth going out there for a haircut." You're ragging on your barber,
That's
man.
good, man. I'm from the IE, dude. Don't mess with the IE.
Yeah, they'll cut
Correct.
We
True
will,
words of
we will go to our
I
barber
went to
and
a
tell him.
fantastic cleanup party in the IE this weekend. It was
Yeah. Oh my God.
Fang
Thank you for
bang.
shouting me out. Yeah, it was a Fang Bang, and he came to see us clean up.
That's what
what?
she calls her parties.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Alright.
kids are doing these
Yeah,
days, but it's weird.
I can tell you it was not a vampire orgy. I was very led on. Carlos says Joc is perfect for an AL team. Tina says don't trade Joc Pop. And Perez1619 says, of course, star of Twitch, why do you hate Miami, Brooke? You're always ragging on them.
I do rag on Miami a lot. I just feel so bad because, like, I think every major city deserves a baseball team.
Here's the thing, bro.
Everyone.
Have you ever been to Miami?
I've never been to Miami.
Don't feel bad, dude. Miami's awesome, dude. Don't feel
Okay,
bad.
so that's why nobody goes to the game
Yeah,
because there's
yeah.
a lot
Fine,
going
there's
on. Okay,
so
I feel
much
better
to
about
do,
that.
man.
Like Milwaukee needs a baseball team. I mean, the Packers are up there, so I guess it's fine or whatever. But like, I think everybody needs a baseball team,
Except
and
for
they don't
Miami.
have one. They just don't. Derek Jeter, I'm pretty sure, is an undercover agent or something like that. I'm not sure what he's doing. Like, he just came in and was like, "I've seen baseball," and it's like,
I'm not sure he knows what he's doing.
dude, he's
Yeah.
just like, "I'm too far in now. I traded all the MVPs. I don't know what to do now, guys." So I don't. I won't feel bad for Miami though.
Man, there's a
Apparently
lot
it's
of
freaking awesome.
There you go.
there's a lot of people here on Joc as the stream is on fire about it right
I
now.
really pissed off a lot of people and got a lot of people to agree with me.
Carlos says Toronto is a perfect fit for Joc. Toronto has Ken Giles. They're not overly attached to him.
Toronto also has like a very young team, which Joc could kind of slide into as like a stopgap, but I don't know if he necessarily fits.
Yeah, I mean he's no Bautista, but
He's basically like a Justin Smoke, but
gooder.
more gooder.
More
Yeah,
better.
it's one of those things where he's
Hey
like, we're
Martinez,
just
do you
here.
like your relief pitcher's ability to like punch himself? Like do you rate that pretty high on your checklist with Ken Giles?
I mean, just the flexibility, I think,
Yeah.
can come into play, and
Yeah.
the Dodgers are all about that flexibility. So
If you can punch yourself in the face at the right time during the right moment of the
Yes.
playoffs, you're
Flexibility,
clutch, man.
punches himself better with Kike's yoga pants.
that's the sixth baseball tool that is often
Check.
overlooked.
Yeah, that's part of checking all the boxes. Farhand looks at all that
Oh,
stuff.
no doubt.
They call
that's
call
gonna be
Ken
big.
Giles a six-tool player.
I think they just call him a tool. Crafty since 1990 says, "Hell yes, Frank. I agree. I very agree with everything, Frank. Which one?
Yes, Frank.
Let us know in the comments
Frank.
below."
Yeah.
IE represent. I think I know who that is.
Kyle's in stream says Joc isn't going anywhere. David Dalton, man, I like Joc. He's a Dodger. Like everybody's saying, he definitely has that Dodger scent to him. I don't think
And they
you
were
can
talking
wash
about
that
it
off.
on the home run derby broadcast too. Like when he was down, when Guerrero hit those 29 home runs, and everybody kind of just had him going to the next round
Yeah.
automatically.
Yeah.
When Joc started hitting a couple home runs, and I forget who was on the broadcast, was kind of like, "Look, this guy's played in the World Series the last couple of years. I'm pretty sure the moment's not going to get to him. He
Right.
might do this," and he ended up tying him. So
Yeah.
it's just
That's
I
nice,
don't know.
man.
Like I even tweeted it the other day. Like my favorite part about Joc Peterson is. And it gets overstated a lot of times about different guys, but like the moment does not get to that guy.
No.
It's true.
At all.
That's really true.
But you know who could sell Joc Peterson right now is the Giants. I mean, he's from Northern California.
That's true. That's a good point.
Hitting
Yeah,
balls,
they have no
hitting balls in
outfielders.
the ocean
No
out there. As we
outfielders.
all know, it's an ocean, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's an ocean.
Yeah. I mean,
definitely.
Not a bay.
Not a bay.
No.
Yeah.
Never
Doesn't
heard of
make
her.
sense.
As long as Bonds doesn't dog him again, though, right? You guys
Yeah,
remember that
that's
one?
right.
Yeah,
He did that.
that's a good point.
We got Tim back in the stream. SD Dodger saying trade Joc ASAP, and OC Dodger Blue 22. If Joc was going to get traded, it would have happened already. A lot of people really thought that this past offseason was going to be the time that he moves. It made a lot of sense. White Sox were all over his coattails or whatever the proper expression is. He
go with
makes. That was the funny thing we were talking about in the offseason is how much every other team seems to want the kid. And he does fit and fill a need on this team, which is a lot of power and like batting 170 at some point. But we already have Kike. In the same way we already have Yimmy and like Dylan Floro and Zach Roskup. You don't need a Kike and a Joc. Like the dudes that can't really get on base all the time. They hit for power, but super streaky. But play, Kike plays fantastic defense, and, well, I'm not going to get into Joc again. I would go and walk away from that
Our
one.
first baseman.
Tina brings up a very, very good point of topic, which I actually had written down myself. I'd rather have Joc over AJ. So Pollock is coming back on Friday. What are our thoughts on second half AJ Pollock for this team? Let's go to you, Lopez.
I think, look, the Dodgers signed this guy for a reason, and they see a lot of good. The necessity was right-handed hitting, right, to combat the
Heavy lefties.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah, Joc has put on a little weight. I agree, bro.
yeah.
He's
So
a
I
thick
think
boy.
I'm excited about getting him back in the second half. It's essentially adding a trade deadline piece or around there, you know. So I expect good things. Give him about a month to maybe settle in or whatever. But this guy, when he's healthy, he does hit. So it's just a matter of if he comes back from the injury, he's gonna hit. It's in his DNA.
Yeah, he's the type of dude who absolutely could carry a team when he's on, but we haven't seen him on in LA. We've seen him on against LA a number of times, no doubt.
All
But
the time.
and I mean, luckily, again, as much as I hate it, people will always point to, hey, they have a big enough lead, you can get away with it right now. But I also hate that because I've pointed out a few times now, this team needs that home field advantage in any potential World Series. So I hate punting games with, you know, like a Joc at first or, you know, a 120 batting AJ. But you might get the same sort of bat out of Joc in that regard. So let's go on that one. Frank Talk, would you have to pick one? That's your guy. That's your go-to. That's pretty much your 5 days a week guy. Who do you take? You take Joc or you take AJ?
Oh, if you had to pick one, I mean, I don't know that the Dodgers have to, but
I know, but we're playing this game.
okay, yeah, to play the game.
The game is Pai Gow.
I think you take AJ Pollock. I mean, everyone's going to point to a lot of Dodger fans that are disappointed or that think he's a bust already, you know, the signing's a bust. They're going to point to the first half and his lack of production, but he was obviously injured, and he just, you know, he's returning. The good thing is not some kind of like structural injury. He didn't have to have, you know, a surgery to repair some kind of tendon or anything like that. He, you know, he had the infection. He got it cleaned up. Hardware's out. He's ready to go. So, you know, give him time, like you said, to get back, get in the swing of things, get his timing right. And I think he's a guy you can plug in every day with, whereas we know Joc's really not that guy.
I think historically, too, people use this a lot, but people say historically Pollock gets a really hot start, has a good first half, and historically doesn't have a good half. I'm not sure why people say that, though.
Because he
His
tends to get
splits-
hurt.
Well, that too. But, like, his splits are almost identical from first half and second half every single season. Like, he's like a 279 hitter in the first half and a 277 hitter in the second half. And he actually has finds more power in the second half, historically speaking. So, I mean, in terms of that, I don't get that argument too much. The Dodgers front office is obviously very high on him, and they keep preaching how high they are on him, despite, you know, a pretty slow start. There's a reason for it. You know, he tore up the Dodgers. Like, he really did. So he has that potential. He can do that. He can be that guy. And I think in terms of, like, just sheer athletic ability, I would go with him over Joc any day of the week, especially against lefties, obviously. That's no question about that. But, I mean, in terms of just sheer athletic ability, how he plays the game, I would choose him over Joc. Joc, you have the chance of a game-changing home run. I get that. That's why I like him off the bench. That's why I like him coming in the late games.
Yeah, something that we go to a lot on our show is we talk about low-maintenance players.
Yeah.
And that's what he is. And I think that's why they got him to look. They essentially replaced a guy like Puig and added a guy like AJ Pollock.
Yep.
You know, so guys that you don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about platooning them, anything like that. And so when it comes to like who you want there in there every day, it's the guy that can pretty much hit against any type of pitching.
Yeah,
he's that guy, man.
Which is, I mean, last season it was everybody so pissed off at the platoons. It's, man, every game is a platoon. Nobody plays back to back. You know, Cody actually put in work in the offseason just so he wouldn't be platoon. So mad respect to Cody. So that was a huge reasoning behind trying to go get Pollock. So that's absolutely we'll give him a point on that one.
Now seems like a good time to bring up the fact that before the season, Clint thought that Belly would be in AAA by July.
I never said by
Take
July.
of the
I think you said
decade.
August.
I said
July or
I
August.
said my hot take was, and I really, it's just this uncomfortable gut feeling, and I hope to God it doesn't happen, but I could see him spending a little time in AAA.
That's what he said. Something along those lines.
I had
it was
feeling
very
like
long.
that, but it was more like Ryu and Kershaw are going to give up a run in the All-Star game.
There you go.
Get the loss, you know.
Yeah, something minor.
That when they were going to give up 5 of the 8 AL hits, and of course, 3 of them to the Astros. God damn it.
Let them get him now.
Yeah.
They can have as much as they want during the All-Star
Yeah,
game. I don't
absolutely.
give a crap about that. Just the national embarrassment. You know, I'm here for it.
Whatever. We're used to it.
I did want to talk about the Derby a little bit because that was a show and a half. But Chet, friend of the stream over here on Facebook, Chet Kroll says trade Joc for a hot dog sandwich.
It's good. It's good timing.
Hot dog is a sandwich.
By definition.
I still have no idea which side you're on. I feel like you change it a lot. We don't have to talk about
personally,
it.
again, I was say to set the record straight. Personally, I feel a hot dog is a hot dog. However, I understand why people say it's a sandwich because technically it is a sandwich, but technically doesn't mean anything.
Like a burger sandwich.
Like people say that technically Kike Hernandez is a major leaguer.
Technically.
I'm just saying.
Preciado would be so proud of you.
But Joc Jack, man, he went ham at that Derby.
Are we calling the controversy Joc Gate? What are we calling it?
It wasn't a controversy.
It was misinterpreted controversy. You did an excellent job of taking the time to go through it, and it seemed like wasted time to me because the home run derby was already over.
I was already ripping the video.
But you were already up anyways. So
Yeah.
what were your findings? Because a lot of people thought that he did, in fact, hit 30 home runs and not 29 because the announcers were
Said it,
announcing
yeah.
said home runs. What were your findings? Let's do that real quick before we get into that.
In regulation, he had the 27. In the bonus time, he hit only 2. There was a third one. There was the one where it was like what's his name? What's the announcer guy?
Carl Ravitch.
Yeah, where Ravitch is like, there goes 29 and there's 30. He did it. 29. Like the camera work was terrible, but it bounced. It bounced like on the warning track and like kicked off the wall and kicked back up.
My favorite thing was that the cameras were trying to follow the ball all the way and like bouncing as they like went with it. So it's like goes in, you're like, where'd that ball go? Instead of just like it's out that way, just look that way.
That and they pretty much
they'll
just
figure it
ignored the whole rule of like you got to wait right
Till it lands.
I think the reason for that was because the camera can't follow.
Dude, yeah, they were like, I don't know, just throw the ball.
Yeah, that was
The
bad.
umpire behind it that's like letting him go is just like,
just do it,
just
man.
go.
Yeah,
And then
all the way down.
Matt
Yeah.
Chapman's dad throwing like mean knuckleballs.
Dude has a nasty
two
slider.
seamers,
Yeah.
That dude was shutting him down, man. I saw the thing that was like signed Matt Chapman's dad.
But yeah, that I was laughing so much at that. The way they're just like, they're like, yeah, that's why little Daddy Vladdy, went out there and threw up a 29 because he had like 40 more pitches than anybody else.
Well, I mean, Bryce Harper did that the year before. Remember, his dad was just like beaming him like boom, 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 boom. They just kept coming.
and nobody wanted to tell his dad anything because the
He
roids.
puts you in a chokehold, dude. That guy,
He will
He'll
pop your
bend
head off.
rebar around you.
Yeah.
That's what that guy's been known to do.
They were like, okay, we're not gonna say anything. You win.
Yeah, see that's how I look at the Kenley and Doc relationship. I'm just saying, anybody trying to talk to Bryce Harper's dad, that's that relationship. But hey, Gary, what was the number 99? I think Joc. He's like the all-time Derby hitting. 99 homers. So Joc is an all-time home run Derby, home run hitting champion guy, man.
I think the funny thing was when they were talking about Vlad Sr.'s home runs, when he's like, yeah, he hit 5 and 3 and 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell happened to the home run derby?
Back when you only got 10 outs.
Yeah,
I
because it
remember.
used to be the outs, and it was
Well,
like
the year in
and-
Fenway when McGuire hit like 13
Yeah.
and it was just out of this world.
people were like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Back
It's
when
like,
they used to use real baseballs also.
right, yeah, it's a little different, yeah. But just hearing that was like, Vlad Jr. hit how many in the first round? Like 20
29 and then 29 again.
Yeah, so it's like he hit 29 and his dad hit like 8 the whole home run derby he won. And it was like, that matches up. Okay, baseball's changed a little bit.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but that's just really in the rules. And the rules are that there are no rules, apparently. But
Free for
thank
all, dude.
God for that Derby because, man, the All-Star game was trash.
Yeah, no doubt. It's just,
Like, did anybody else take a nap during that?
I left. I just went to run some errands. And
I stopped
that.
I stopped watching after the 6th. I didn't even watch the rest of the game.
Yeah,
I think I saw Chuck Nasty's home run, and that was it for me. Whatever inning that was. I
It
don't
gets a
even
little
know.
hacky too. I think some of the
Yeah.
player interviews and stuff, and I mean it's kind of cool at times, but other times it's like, all right, let's watch the.
I like the on-field ones, like when they're playing for a little bit, and then it always
Freeman
gets to
was
a
great.
guy. It gets to a guy that just does not want to do it. Like Yelich,
We see you,
did
Cody.
not want to do it. Cody was just like, like
Yeah,
I
pay
forgot
attention,
there's
yeah.
somebody in my ear or whatever. So you get to those guys, and you're kind of like, okay. The Astros one, admittedly, was entertaining to watch because they put all three
All
Astros
three of them at
on,
the same time,
which was
that's right.
that was a good move. They did right by that. Still the Astros, but it was fun.
It was it?
I
don't know.
mean,
don't
not
think
the
there was
game. The
anything
game
fun.
sucked. The game was terrible. It was kind of cool to see Justin Bieber, throw strike out the side in front of his home crowd.
Yeah,
Even
but-
though, like, I don't think he necessarily should have been an all-star.
Yeah, well,
But that's a whole separate issue. But
but
I'm
does
glad he won
that
the
does that
MVP.
also warrant? Yeah, how does that warrant him?
Because no one else did anything.
that's fair.
Like Gallo hit a home run.
I don't know. I mean,
I
Chuck
guess that's
Nasty
good.
grew a beard. That's All-Star worthy. That's he should have gotten a crystal bat.
Charlie Blackmon took a shower before the game. Give him the MVP.
Or you don't stink today. So we saw that clip going around on Twitter. The instead of the home run derby, there's the bunting derby.
Oh yeah,
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen it?
it's
It's like
Japan,
Japan or
right?
something like
Yeah.
that, which makes sense.
I've seen that before.
But
yeah.
I mean, you know how like the NBA does like the skills competition,
Sure.
like they do, or NHL's is a lot worse. No one really watches the NHL All-Star game, anyways. But it's something like that. I would actually watch something like that where you're doing, maybe not bunting, but I might watch the bunting. I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
Like if it's just
Yeah,
I'd probably-
it's just like
I'd watch
Ichiro bunting. I'm
Yeah,
in.
right.
I'm all for this. But you could do a bunch of stuff
Like
like
drag bunting.
throwing the ball from the outfield to like a
Yeah,
small
yeah.
target, or I don't know, something
true.
like that, like from the bleacher shot or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I would watch stuff like that. If they're gonna do all this crap before it anyways and have all the off
robbing
days, they might
home
as well
runs or
still-
something like that. like
Yeah,
an outfield or
that would
something.
be cool. I would watch
Yeah.
that too. There's a bunch of stuff that you could do for that.
Yeah,
And
they could make it a lot better. Like
it's a pretty extended like break for the All-Star game. So I mean, just throw some stuff in there. You already got the celebrity softball game. throw other crap
that
in
probably would have been more entertaining.
I actually
Let the
I
big
actually
leaguers play
really like
softball.
watching the celebrity softball games.
I'm a
'cause
sucker
they're
for those,
way
man.
more entertaining, dude. I freaking love those. Ever
What,
since
what is the is it hashtag
Yeah,
get real FRG
Apparently.
to the 2020 All-Star game? What-
yeah, we just want to see it.
So apparently, I'm supposed to play in the All-Star game at the celebrity
Celebrity
softball game
That's it.
at
It's like
Dodger
the All-Star
Stadium.
game.
I mean, I'm down either way.
Yeah,
Let's make it happen.
Better first baseman.
Do they
than
put
Joc
does they
at the-
put relatively unknown online bloggers such as myself and you
Yeah,
into celebrity softball games? Because I would like to find
I
a
mean,
way.
I'm sure we could ask Eric. We
I
could
could
pull
probably
some
get
strings.
I could probably get like a minor league contract if I could get it. Not
Oh,
for
wow.
baseball, not for baseball, like softball.
minor league
leagues.
softball. I don't know. You've seen some of those dudes.
Yeah, that's true.
You
They're
played the
pretty
tourneys.
nuts, dude. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
pretty
come
nuts.
on
I
now.
don't mess with those guys.
By the way, we got to thank Catherine. She went and bought a friend of the show shirt. Let's see. That's a money shirt right there. Hopefully, you use that promo code. By the way, BH Live 20 saves you 20%. If not, go buy another
Sorry.
one. Buy the hoodie. That hoodie's a banger.
We have hoodies.
We have hoodies now.
Oh, dude, I'm so ready for summer.
Wait, what? First half highlights. Pick one play that was just like this was either a defining moment for me, for this team, or this was just incredibly fun. I'm gonna go with you first, Brooke, because you read the question before.
That's
Maybe
good.
you're more prepared.
I hope you guys aren't taking mine. Mine was the Cincinnati walk-off.
Okay,
When
go
Joc
ahead.
walked it off, I was with you guys. We were
That's
standing.
right.
We were
Joc off?
We
No.
stood
Good
at we
answer.
stood at field level for probably like an hour. I don't know.
Yeah,
We were there
just
for a
three-
while.
three, four
So we were
innings,
just standing behind home plate watching the game and talking. And I was pretty certain they were going to lose that game.
Yeah,
like that was the game. I
Yeah.
think that Puig let it off or
I
had
think
started.
Kemp got the go-ahead hit against
Yeah,
Kenley,
like in the
right?
night.
That's
yeah.
what happened. Yeah.
And so we were like, yeah, they're going to lose this game, whatever. But then Joc came up and I think you had even said it. You were like, "Oh, dude, he could go deep here." And
Yeah.
it was just like, boom, and we all like
Yeah,
ran
yeah.
up over the seats, and I was like, "Oh my god!" So that was a pretty cool moment. I don't get to see a lot of walk-offs, but I also saw Billingers this year. So
oh, that's a good time.
I don't get to see a lot, but I saw 2 this year, and that's all I really need to.
We need to get to the
satisfy my
stadium
life.
Let's go down the line. What was your moment?
The one, there's a lot, man, but the one that kind of stands out to me is when they got to Edwin Diaz. It was like it took 1 out for them to score like 4 runs or something
Right.
like that on a walk off. It's one of the most honestly one we've seen a lot of impressive walk offs over the last 3 years, but that's the one that stands out as like, oh my god, the other team didn't stand a chance,
Yeah.
and that they were up by 3 in the 9th. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a testament to how dominant this team really is / could be.
What you
Yeah,
got?
well, Brooke took mine. Mine was going to be Joc's, but
See, this is why I let you lead up.
Yeah,
no,
there you
but
go.
you know what? I always got back up. So I'm going to say getting to Josh Hader.
Yeah.
Kike first, and then Cody.
Yeah.
It was a while ago. I like
it
that.
was,
That was a
but
good one.
That was
That kind of set the tone of we got to him, then we got to Yates, we got
Yep.
to
Yeah,
Diaz,
yeah,
we got to.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
just taking down all those elite relievers,
Right.
which is like what they've done all year long. They can't hit really bad relievers, but they
Or
can
starters.
Tear,
Yeah.
or starters.
they can tear up elite pitching. Man.
Plus, that game was the what's it called? Was rob a homer, knock a homer. That was just such a good game.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
That's
title
true.
for it.
One of.
Another good one was the. I don't know if I'm stealing it from you, so maybe I don't want to say.
Yeah, don't steal it.
The walk off.
That was good. The walk.
The
Walk off.
They call it the BB off.
The walks off.
No, I really loved Cody's revenge walk off because that was gold.
That was good.
Made a
yeah.
shirt out of it for one, but yeah, like the
Just the
hands.
hands.
He's always the hands, man.
Yeah.
That dude is like, he's like, my hands are so huge, man.
Whoa.
I mean, we've got a full season full of moments, but none of us even touched on the rookie walk-off weekend. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Dude,
The whole
there's
thing.
a ton. There's so many
There's
big
a
moments
bunch of
this
people
year,
right
man.
now are talking about Walker's 16K Kike game, which
Okay.
was, I believe, the first walk-off, too. I think that was Matt Beatty's
Yeah.
walk-off, so the
Was
first
it
of the
that
3
weekend?
rookies.
What's
Yeah.
funny about that game too is I didn't realize how well he was pitching until like the 8th inning, and I was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah,
Yeah.
16
Crept up on you.
Ks.
Yeah,
It's
I
pretty
was like,
crazy.
whoa, what happened? No walks.
Michael Velarde loved the first Will Smith walk-off. Like, how cool is it to have 3 home
Yeah.
runs, 2 of them were walk-offs? I
That's
called him on
true.
the second one, his second walk-off, which was the third of the
Right.
3 rookies. I called him. He was a straight-up assassin. He was just like, hey, we need you here today. He's like, all right, cool, I got this. All right, let's go home.
Did he go home after?
That's it. I'm done. That's
right,
all
guys.
we need. Kowski's in the stream. What's going on, Kowski? Round of golf coming up soon, I think, right? But yeah, he wants the walk-off walk. That was such
Classic.
a iconic moment for the Dodgers. It proves that they can do anything, any way.
That was one of the more impressive walk-off because it was all with 2 outs, and they were all
2
a
strikes
swing
and 2
away.
outs, yeah.
Yeah, they were all a swing away from either tying it or going ahead.
Yeah.
And this team, if you compare the 2018 team to the 2019
Oh, yeah.
team, 2018 team doesn't do this.
They went
you know?
up there flailing
No. Yeah.
immediately. The game was over,
Right.
and that wasn't even just 2 outs. That was you're on 2 strikes, and
Yeah.
CT made his way back. Like there was just such a. I'm going with Chef's kiss again on that. Milksy25 says Bellinger's
good
throw
name.
to third, also very good. How good he's been. Carlos wants that hoodie. Then what's stopping you? Go get the hoodie. DodgeNation.com/shop. Man.
There's a
Oh,
discount
wait, I have
code.
the- DN, was it BH Live 20? I know all my codes. Michael says, put a brew on every brace, and Kruk would play great. I'm Kruk, by the way. They call me Kruk on the stream.
It's a good name for you.
Perez1619 says, FRG to play in the celebrity softball game. The Matt Stairs of podcast. Matt Stairs of podcast. Thank you. And Janae Juno wants Real FRG 2020. Thank you. I guess I could run for president. I don't know. I think I'm old enough, but I'm definitely qualified.
Definitely qualified.
Definitely qualified. What else do we got? I know. Oh yeah, we had a few our own version. I wanted to steal some of your guys' latest ones from the mailbag, but I was like, nah, that's gonna be racist. So I don't want to be that guy. Over on Instagram, mm.t19 wanted us to talk about the only highlight really from that Padres series, which was Manny Machado betting large. Come on, Manny. What were you thinking? That was like so embarrassing. He pretty much guaranteed $300 million to that guy because there's no way in hell the Padres are going to win.
I'm pretty sure he's not following through on that payment regardless. Something about Manny tells me he might not be a man of his word. I don't know.
You're saying he's no Johnny follow through?
Oh, Johnny Hustle.
Never heard of her.
Hustled through.
Yeah, it was just that was great. That was really the saving grace for me for that series. Was
He could have talked so much better trash. Like he could
Yeah,
have talked so much better trash, but he just went.
He
with,
could have
"I'll
turned
bet my
around.
home contract."
He could have turned
Top
around and
game
says,
up.
you wouldn't make the World Series last year if I didn't join your team.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Could've
something
said
like
that.
that.
Could have said so
Right.
many things.
Yeah.
Like,
If I had him, yeah, whatever. After your mom, like that works.
and he would have just been like,
That's the only way
he
you
would have just
win.
been like, "Whoop,
No comeback to that.
he got
Exactly.
me, he
There's-
got me." But instead, he was trying to flex like, "I have a
Yeah.
$300 million
Yeah.
contract." That's really what it was.
Like, yeah, and
I
we're
have
not
a
paying
$300
it for
million.
you.
And he was like, "Yeah, congrats, losing team."
But I like the way it kind of turned warm afterwards. Like, we miss you, or I miss you in Dodger Blue. I do too.
That's just that's like a fan thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like fans.
It's like, oh my God, my God, he's talking to me. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
Like
Gotta
actual
double
real
down on the
players.
trash talk,
Oh yeah,
right?
dude. I mean, I've talked so much crap on players that when I met in real life, I was just like, I'm a big fan. And I'm like, and they walk away, and I'm like, F that guy.
Don't ever trade Joc. Don't ever trade him.
honestly-
Yeah, exactly. If I
honestly-
met Joc in real life, I'm really hoping at some point he's watched anything I've ever said about him because he'll just be like, that guy.
I'm honestly kind of thankful that Kike usually avoids me whenever he sees me at any
Oh,
of the
dude, I'm
events.
sure he
knows.
has you blocked. He knows, dude.
He
He
knows.
knows.
Yeah.
Oh,
Love
you
you,
blocked?
Keeks.
Nice.
Yeah, you got.
I mean, I take.
You got it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be big time, man. You know, don't be jelly. Don't be jelly. I'm just saying.
Well, Clint Evans is still blocked by Grandal, so
Yeah.
he's the
whatever.
only thing blocked by Grandal.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Dude,
All right. So Billy Brown on the.
Yeah, do
which
it.
one? Do you want one?
Scusi.
there you go.
Billy Brown on Twitter asked a lot of ats. Do you guys really think there's a shot at getting Vasquez, which we kind of already did? Whatever. We already did that one. Yes, there is a shot. If they trade everybody, I'm sure Pittsburgh's going to go for it. Do I want it? No. Yeah, I'm going to go with that one. I think that's about it. Those are the questions. That was all of our mailbag because we didn't really. I didn't put out anything mailbag.
It was
The
a good
mailbag's
mailbag.
kind of here.
You guys have a built-in mailbag right there.
Yeah.
Perez is waiting for the day that me and Kike hug it out, so that's pretty good. Dodger Farifo. Says send down Austin Barnes, make Will Smith the everyday catcher.
We could talk about that for a second because I want to know
Yeah.
how long do you think Austin Barnes has?
September call-ups. You were talking about you want Gavin Lux to be the Corey Seager. I think Will Smith is the Corey
Yeah.
Seager, or the Corey Seager.
Yeah, in
of
my
this
mind,
season.
he's already in there.
He's gonna get enough playing time in September to take the starting job, I think. And I don't think Barnes is the one that gets sent down. I think Russell Martin might be the one that.
I've been
I
saying
think-
it.
I think Barnes is like the Jimmy Rollins, right?
Right.
He's a
Yeah.
starter right now,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
Will Smith comes and he's the Corey Seager.
Right.
All right, we're gonna have
Because
to expedite.
I've been telling him that Russell Martin's just not made for the rest of this year. Like
No.
he's old.
Served his
He doesn't-
purpose.
He doesn't have a lot.
Two
of
relief
them.
innings.
Yeah, but I love him.
Yeah, but you want
I
Curtis
grew up on-
Granderson all over again, you know, in the playoffs?
Somebody
good
did bring
lord.
that up.
They say bring back Granderson.
Carl
Yeah.
Crawford.
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah.
actually
Josh,
said.
Josh Reddick.
Yeah.
All right, the final thoughts for you guys here. We got just a little under 3 months left of the season. How did these last 3 months play out, and what are the biggest question marks heading into the second half? We're going to lead off with you, Martinez.
I think they play out. There'll be some frustrating losses. We'll drop a few series that they shouldn't drop because they're trying different things out, getting people play at certain positions, or pitchers they're really just exhausting just to see what they have, if anything, left. But overall, I think they will finish with the top record, home field advantage, and then they will trade for a reliever, an elite reliever. And then as far as biggest question marks is who do they get? Who do they trade for? Who plugs that hole in the back of the bullpen? And then how does everything just fall into place after that?
Right. I think as far as biggest question mark, for me, it's got to be Rich Hill. A lot is contingent on whether or not he's going to be able to come back, if Julio moves into the rotation, or if they find another option externally, internally, whatever it may be. So to me, that's probably the biggest question. But as far as prediction, I can double down on what Frank said. As far as there will be a few frustrating losses.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna have to see if
That's what they do.
Right. When Rich Hill comes back, I'm sure a few of those starts aren't going to be great. And then AJ Pollock, him coming back, all that stuff. There's going to be some questions there, and it might lead to a few losses. But I think it all plays out to about a 100-win season around there.
And you guys are down to party when we make the playoffs, right?
Oh, just come on, dude.
Pizza Mania? Wait, yeah, I thought you were supposed to bring Pizza Mania. Mira.
I was coming from Montebello today.
It's in the car.
I mean, there's still Rios in Montebello.
That's
like,
true, but it's
come
not
on,
Pizza
guy.
Mania, man.
It's
All
open
you
late.
Don't get
Whittierites.
started over there.
Pizza Mania.
It's open late.
Open late so you can eat great. All right, so they're going to deliver.
Ah,
Here,
there you
we're
go,
getting
yeah.
Pizza Mania, not a sponsor, but we'll take it. We're
No,
in
yeah.
South Pass.
Playoffs
but,
roll around.
There
We're
you
going
go.
hard during
We're going,
playoffs.
yeah, we're going
100%.
ham.
Going
do it.
hard during playoffs.
I'm down.
That's about it, gang. I would say it's about time to crack open another beer, so that's going to be the end for us. But, gents, we appreciate you coming out. Hope you had some fun. Shout out each other's. You don't have to split it, but social medias. Let people know where to find you, and let people know about Let's Be Frank.
Yeah, so on social media, you can follow the podcast at Let's Be Frank Pod. That's on Twitter, that's on Instagram, and then Facebook.com/Let's Be Frank Pod. On Twitter, I am at Baseball Frank. That's in Spanish, Baseball Frank.
Baseball.
Yeah.
Frank's in Spanish too.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Frank, Baseball Frank. And what about the other Frank?
Yeah, same thing. Get us on the Let's Be Frank pod handle, but on Twitter, Frank Talk LA. That's really the only social media I use, and let's have some fun.
Let's do it.
Yeah, check that thing out, guys. That's a really good podcast. Really good Dodger content. You guys can listen to them. You guys are really entertaining, just in general, like just as humans. But I think the way you guys work together, like your personalities, quality.
We appreciate that, guys.
And you got good takes too.
Thank you.
So that's
Thank
what
you. We
matters.
appreciate that and the opportunity.
Feeling is
to come
mutual,
on.
guys.
People should never call one another humans. That's just messed up, man.
Yeah, that's
Telling
my
you.
That's on me, guys. I apologize.
You guys can find us on the internet at DodgersNation.com. We put out delicious content every single day. So much of it that you could take it all. Just take it. Just take it. Just subscribe to Blue Heaven on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, Player FM, all the spots that you digest your delicious podcasts.
Wherever podcasts are sold for free.
Absolutely.
That's where it is. A huge thank you to our guests at Baseball Frank, once again, at Frank Talk LA for joining us. I am Brook Me3. This guy over here is at RealFRG, both of us on Twitter and Instagram, and we are at Dodgers Nation on Twitter, at Official Dodger Nation on Instagram.com, and you can find all of our great content every single day at DodgersNation.com. Thank you to our awesome crack production team. And a very specific birthday shout out to producer T. We love you very much and happy
birthday, T.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you guys in the stream for all your questions and comments and
Hatfield.
concerns and beer recommendations and threats and all of those good things. We appreciate you guys. We
And
love
Joc
you.
Talk.
Thank you for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next week.
Peace. Bye.